Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
This is Orlando, and we are episode 12.
Episode 12, man. It's feeling good. You know what? One of my favorite parts of being this far in is we're starting to have people who are like listening and care.
There's actually people listening.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
No, like seriously, like somebody is like listening to what we're saying.
It's amazing. Like it feels great just to be connected to you guys, like to see you guys DMing us, to see you talking to us on our Insta.
And we're so appreciative.
Yeah,
we are
it's
so
awesome.
humbled by it too. Because, you know, when Mike and I started, we thought it'd only be like a handful of people, but it seems like, you know, there's a lot more of you out there listening. So thank you so much. Hopefully we continue to bring you quality content that helps you out, and hopefully we can learn too.
Yeah, exactly. And that being said, this show is for you guys. I mean, it's for us because we're getting stuff out of it too. You guys are sending us great tips and stuff too all the time. We're learning from you. But if there are things that you'd like us to talk about, if there are things that you want us to kind of focus on, let us know, right? We'd love to talk about those things.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we were supposed to be doing. It really caught. We just started.
Yeah, but it's late.
Those of you that aren't seeing this, Mike just decided that he needed some coffee.
Okay, so you're gonna make fun of my drink.
We've only been in like maybe 45 seconds.
You drink Diet Mountain Dew the entire show.
Keeps me alive. Keeps me hustling.
If you guys watch, like he just takes sips like every 2 seconds of the Diet Mountain Dew.
Okay, let's get.
All right, here we go.
You know, all right, I feel bad. Okay, all right. So you were supposed to go garage sailing with your family.
Oh, it was amazing. No, it was awesome. So we left early. Like it was an early morning because we had to drive like 40 minutes.
Was there daylight out kind of early?
No, definitely not. 'Cause we had to get there early before they set up their garage sale. So if you didn't remember, if you didn't listen to the last episode, a friend of my wife was part of a garage sale, community garage sale.
By the way, Mike didn't invite me. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
Well,
all right, go ahead, finish your story.
But so we go to this community garage sale and we show up, and we got to get there early, right? But it was really neat because, you know, her friend got to see Judah, my son. We took my son with us, and we just went as a family. Like there was a few times where we were able to park at like one house and just walk with the stroller and hit up a few houses, and then there were other times where, you know, we had to jump back in the car real quick and drive a little more. But we did that. We went to a thrift store and then we went and got breakfast. And it's about I think the third time we've done this as a family, like gone out. It's not every Saturday, but it's a lot of fun to do that.
I will say that's pretty cool. I mean, I tried doing that, I remember at one point, and now I take my son every once in a while. He used to want to go every single time. Yeah. And now he just says, I'm going to stay home. And there's a part of me that feels bad, like, hey, don't you want to hang out with me? But then there's the other part that goes, you know, it makes it difficult too.
Yeah.
Right? Because, you know, sometimes I get out of the car and he's like lagging and I see stuff and I'm like, let's go.
Yeah. No, I mean, we definitely move slower when there's more, you know, so.
But like, it's good. It's quality
good. It's
time.
Fun. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I wouldn't change it. You know, I wouldn't trade it in for anything. It's been awesome doing that. Yeah, it was a good time. We got a lot of good scores too. We'll talk about some of those during our Bolos and hustles of the week.
Your hustle of the week.
Yeah. So what about you? You were going to go through your inventory and actually organize it, right? Wasn't that?
Well, did I say all my inventory?
I think you definitely said and meant all. I'm getting the idea here. You probably didn't do all.
Well, I started.
But that's a good place.
And what's guilty to me is there's others out there that listen to the podcast and they were like, send me information. So they're like, hey, Orlando, you know, this is what we do. This is how we do our custom SKU label. Because I guess I showed up to the party late. Yeah. I guess a lot of people knew about this. It was new to me. Like, I had no idea about it. And so, for instance, Sell Quick, Ship Quick, you know, they had sent me this information like, hey, this is how we organize our inventory. And if you guys are listening, you guys crack me up because every 2 days you're asking me, like, how's it going?
And they're holding you accountable, man.
And sheepishly, I'm like, I'll get to it, or I'm working on it. So I started, and let's just say we started. I did get some totes, and I kind of configured the totes and put all the shoes together. You know what I was using at one point for storage was like Goodwill bags or like Albertsons bags to store them in. And then when shoes would sell, I couldn't even see what shoes I had in the tote, so I had to like feel the shoes.
I'm
sure I'm not the only one that does this.
Yeah, no, I'm running into that right now. We're using all of the Goodwill and Salvation Army bags, and they're not see-through. You got to open them.
Yeah, I would say stop now.
What are you using now instead?
You know, I'm kind of a little embarrassed. So you can buy clear bags on Amazon, But at Costco, they have these trash bags for office,
Mm.
like trash cans. Like they're clear, they're thin, and I use them, and you get a ton of them. I think I paid, I don't know, $10, and I can't even remember, at least
Why
500.
are you embarrassed of that? That sounds like
I don't know. I
great
feel like
deal.
I'm putting people's shoes in trash
They're not
bags.
used. I mean,
I won't ship
really.
them like that.
I don't even know if there's anything wrong because like I know I saw on one of your Insta posts you were talking about getting like the plastic clear bags from Amazon to ship stuff in, put things in.
Oh yeah, and I do that. Yeah, that I
So
do.
basically, a plastic trash bag is just that. Maybe not as nice,
I
right? But
know. I mean, it is. Yeah, I get it. I don't know. I just feel a little guilty, but so I know some people use shoe racks, but for me, I try to optimize my space, and I find that totes, if I do the Tetris thing really well,
mm,
I can get a ton of shoes in a tote.
but time wise, okay. So space, yes, but you're already realizing time. You got to dig through them, and if you Tetris and it's in the bottom, and you got to untetris it all and get those, and then Tetris it back. I do think shoe racks would probably be a good idea. I definitely don't have the space for them, but if you've got the space to just put them on racks or maybe on like the hangy things, that'd
Talking
be a
about
good
a
way to
lot of
go.
shoes, man. I don't know if you
How
know
how
what
many shoes are we talking here?
I've lost
Give
track.
me give me a ballpark estimate.
Sorry, maybe 500.
Whew, that's a lot of shoes.
Okay, so I'm not really sure. Tino's the sole advisor. Like, I don't know if you guys have watched this stuff, but he has like a warehouse full of shoes and he has racks. So I'm a little jealous there, but he definitely has the systems down. So we'll see. My issue too is I'm running into is I have a bunch of stuff for Q4 that I'm waiting to ship out.
Mm,
And so that's taking up a lot of space. So once that gets sorted out, maybe I'll be able to fully kind of take advantage of the space that I have.
nice.
So we'll see what happens. Thanks. I don't know if I feel better after that conversation.
Well, you got people holding you accountable, and maybe there's a little bit of like nicety in the way they do it. I'm
Is
coming
it
at it
again
tough love.
nicety? Are you an English teacher?
Yeah, this is a podcast. It's not quite as formal. I'm not reading literature,
Okay,
right?
I'm just
It's all
checking,
right.
just checking. All right, well, sell quick, ship quick. You're welcome to keep me accountable. And anybody else, hey Orlando, how's the organization going? I'm not going to give you awesome answers probably because Q4 is hitting, but I need to be reminded. Is that fair?
Fair.
Okay. All right. Hey, let's talk a little bit about I want to talk about Q4 because that's consuming my time. So I don't want to talk too long about this because we just did a whole episode on this. Have you been doing anything lately for Q4, like specifically, or are you just kind of just buying it just to list?
You know, so I would say we're trying to buy more new with tag items, knowing
Okay.
that Q4 that's probably going to be a little bit more of the selling things. Not that other things like we talked about, not that other things won't sell, but the majority increase of sales is probably going to be new in box, new with tag. So my wife and I, we actually went with the whole family. We took her in-laws. We went to some outlet malls and stocked up on a bunch of stuff.
Are you gonna tell us what specific stores?
No, but I will tell you, we
That's good. No, that's
we
good.
we spent like $1,000 almost, and that was the biggest purchase we've ever made for
Good for you
anything like
guys.
this. So I think it shows like we're jumping full in on this, like we're ready to do it. So
That's good. Now, did you guys already start like taking pictures and
oh, it's all
listing?
listed.
All that is legit.
Bang bang boom.
So how many items are we talking about?
Um, not as many as you'd think. Probably about 30-ish.
Okay, but good ROI is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
good ROI.
Nice. And a little bit of Posh, a little bit of eBay, or
Yeah, I mean, it's I think that's kind of our key right now is just trying to diversify, get a little
okay.
bit on every platform, and certain items can go on both, right? Like if you had a huge inventory, it might be more difficult to do this because, something sells on one, you got to deal with that. But as of now, we're selling, let's say a pair of shoes. I had a pair of shoes that was on both eBay and Posh, and it actually was on eBay for, 2.5, 3 months, and I just had a couple watchers, no offers. We had it on Posh for like a week, and they sold. So we just took them off eBay really fast,
Wow, that's
and yeah.
awesome. That is so good. See, and I haven't done that cross posting, but and I don't know if I want to go down that road. I think I was about to, but there's some changes possibly coming to eBay, which we'll get to in a little bit that will keep me moving into eBay.
Hey, that's good. I mean, I love eBay as a platform, but there's other things that are working. But if eBay can, step up the game when they need to and where they need to, then
I
that'll help
agree.
us.
They have to. And here's the good thing. The more competition, right? Competition just drives people to be innovative, right?
Mhm.
Because if you're not innovative, you're gonna fall away. And I think eBay is finally catching on. I think it took a little while, some of the things we'll talk about today, if they do happen, I mean, this is stuff that could have been done 10 years ago
Mm.
or more. So we'll get there. All right. You said you had some kind of story you wanted to share.
Well, I mean, you've always got a cool random story. I don't know. Um, why don't you go first? What's your random story?
Wow. This always happens. And then your story is like really good. Well, my story isn't great. It's one of those where now that I'm fully out there, like full time reselling, I've noticed that the inventory I pick up is better.
Mm.
And I feel bad because I know some of you are part time and some of you can't avoid just working during the day, right? You have no options. Your job is a 9 to 5. But if you can, I do kind of want to say if you're able to, especially as we get closer to Q4, take a couple days off, which I did do when I was working full time, and just source like say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take this day and this day, and I'm going to source from the early morning until the evening.
Mm.
It may be worth it to you. But what's happening is now I'm running into resellers that I've never
Nice.
seen before, like consistently.
Wow.
And a couple weeks ago at Goodwill, I did run into this guy named Daryl and this other group too, and I'd seen him before, and we're friends. It's not like we look at each other and it's like the Wild West and like
Mm.
get out of my store, but it's interesting.
No.
And what cracked me up, I was at the Nike store, and I thought I was gonna be like the only person there. So the Nike store I go to it's kind of, out on the outskirts of San Diego, and I've never really seen like big time resellers. I mean, I've seen a couple people pick up 20, 30
Mm.
pairs, and I'm there with my phone and I'm scanning items, and I see this guy walk by me and goes, "Oh, resellers are here," something like that, and I go, "That guy's a reseller too,
Yeah.
right?" And then I turn to the left, and there's a guy with a bunch of LeBron James jerseys, and I go, there's another reseller too, and I'm like, "Wow, like this is getting intense."
That's crazy.
And it wasn't a big sale. It was
Mm.
like 20% off, but there's enough meat on the bones to pick up stuff, especially for Amazon.
Mm.
And I kind of had two options, right? I could have just been kind of like, throw elbows out, grab whatever, like don't care, or
Mm.
reach out and just say, "Hey, what's up? How's it going?" And it's funny because there's certain people that like I see on Instagram and I'm just impressed.
Mm.
Like their work ethic and what the numbers they're pulling in are just
Like who?
well, I'm about to bring it up.
Let's hear it.
Man, let me get there.
Oh, I mean, I just want to make sure I'd like to hear these people out.
Okay, so Buy Ship Repeat, okay, was there, and if you guys aren't following them, you should definitely follow them. They have a lot of followers, so I'm sure you are. But if you haven't, and especially if you're heavy into Amazon, like they have good stuff, and so they pull in a lot of money. I'm talking about like 200K a month this year,
Wow.
right? And I think we're gonna have them on our show, probably episode 26 or 27 once we get there. It's interesting because I was talking to Brian, and the other guy's Chris, and hey, what's up, man? How you going? How you doing? And I remember we walked up to this like wall, and there's these backpacks, and we look at each other,
Oh man.
and he was good. He looked at me, goes, "Hey, you know what? Grab those are yours. I'll take these, and we're good." And I was like,
Nice.
"All right, sweet." So that's kind of how the store worked.
Mm.
He went to his section, I went to my section, and then after that, it was kind of funny because, by the way, that phone ringing, I thought it was a cha-ching. So
Yeah, that would have been great.
I
Not
know
a cha-ching though.
eventually it'll happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, it did once on an earlier podcast.
that is true. That is true. I don't know why people call there. All right. Anyways, moving on. So what ended up happening is, we're going around the store, and then the other reseller in there, Funky Cold One, he's kind of he's a reseller, but he's not big on Instagram,
Mm.
So he doesn't have a huge public profile, but it's funny because we ran into each other, and he goes, "Hey man, weren't you at my garage sale like a year ago?" And I was like, "Wait, that's you." And it's funny because I bought inventory from him that he was trying to offload.
Nice.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
I went to a garage sale a few weeks ago that I could tell very clearly the guy was a reseller.
and
it
most of
just
the time it's not good.
Yeah.
That to
you don't
me,
want that stuff, right?
because they're trying to sell the stuff that he
Yeah.
can't even
Yeah,
sell.
yeah.
And it was kind of cool, meeting him and meeting Brian. And what it told me was that I think sometimes we get caught up in this very competitive, like, hey, we don't need to talk to anybody, we
Mm,
don't need to communicate. I'm not necessarily like that, but that's kind of the vibe I get
yeah,
sometimes. And it was great. Brian and I had a conversation about how things are going for them. And, it meant a lot to me, right? Because I kind of look up to these guys and what they're doing.
yeah.
And, talking to the other resellers, there's other resellers also in the store. I got the sense that, yeah, we're competitive.
Mm,
And, we're kind of laughing about, all right, who's going to ship out first, right?
mm,
Because some of this stuff is Amazon, some of it's eBay. And now it's a race. Hopefully, it's not a race to the bottom.
right.
Right, but it was good. Again, the reselling community, I find that it's very welcoming. We just gotta keep positive. We gotta just keep willing to work with each other and just be wise with what we say.
Yeah, and realistically, I mean, if you think about it, it even when you're dealing with competition inside of a single store, usually sourcing at one store one day, that one trip is not going to make or break your reselling career, right? It's gonna make a
Very
small
true.
dent one way or the other. And so you might lose some money. You might lose a little bit of profit to another reseller in a store, but you have the potential of building connections and developing relationships. And there's no sense in getting upset and creating like tension between you guys because then that carries on forever. And for what? Maybe a $100, something like that that you
Mhm.
you lose there. Whereas as you go forward, people have their specific areas that they're interested in, and who knows? Maybe you guys start talking to each other like, "Hey, I know you sell these. I don't really sell these. They're having to sell at the store," right? So if we build this community up and we do it right, there's the potential for increased profit for everyone instead of worrying about the losing a nickel here and there.
That's great. You remind me of, somebody had direct messaged me earlier in the week, and they said, "Hey, I don't know where you're at, but I got a connection with Vans,
Mm,
and I could connect you, but you have to make bulk purchases."
mm,
And I'm like, wow, like, this person wasn't able to, or not that they couldn't, but they just chose not to.
right.
But they said, hey, this may work for you.
Yeah.
Right. And it kind of goes along with what you're saying.
Yeah.
And the awesome thing about this is like now we developed, more, other relationships in the community that we can, go to for help, like you said. And I do want to eventually have Brian and Chris from Buy Ship Repeat on our show eventually, because man, they probably have a wealth of knowledge to share with everyone.
That would be awesome.
And so that was good. So it wasn't like a crazy story, but I got another reseller story to tell, but that's for our next podcast.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Well, my story is definitely not as resale oriented, I guess, but it is. So we're at a garage sale. It was the time just
I'm really at a
recently.
loss here.
So here we go. So
Okay.
my wife and I and Judah were walking around, and one of the things I've noticed reselling is going into thrift stores, going to garage sales. I find so many things that I want to get for Heather's my wife or for Judah my son. I got Heather a pair of hunter boots at one garage sale that was really cool. We found this really cool toy for my son at the last garage sale that we went to. But anyway, so I found things for them, but we were walking along and we saw a chia pet, a Trolls chia pet, new in box, right? Super bizarre. And there was some toys that I wanted to get here, and my wife was kind of playing with this thing, and she's like, "Oh, I've always wanted a chia pet." And so
She always wanted a chia pet?
yeah, and so I was
Okay.
like, "Oh, this is cool." So I bundled the chia pet with a bunch of other toys, just trying to like get the best deal I could. And we got a really good deal. I think we ended up getting the chia pet was like for $1 or something. And we were looking up comps and we're like, "Oh, they sell for like this one will sell for like, $25 with shipping or $20 with shipping." So it's a pretty decent ROI. And then we're looking at it and we're like, "Do you want to just do it? Like let's not sell this. Let's not list it. Let's just grow a chia pet."
Like, make the chia.
Yeah, so we've got this Trolls chia pet that we spent an evening and we soaked it in the water and we put the seeds on it and it's growing like crazy and it's pretty fun. Every day we come home and we look and we see how Troll the chia is
Does
doing
it
and
brighten your day, like, when you walk in and you're like, "There's my troll."
it's neat. Like it really is. Like it's a bizarre, neat thing that these seeds just stick to this pot and they grow really fast. Like in like 3 days, it went from seeds on this pot to like a full. I'm sure some of you guys have done chia pets before, but it's just fun. So I guess my what the point of this story is have fun while you're doing this, right?
No, I
Like
agree,
you're
I
out
agree.
there, you're finding stuff. sometimes you're gonna find unique things. I mean, chia pets aren't that unique, but you're gonna find bizarre, weird things, and, you're getting major bargains sometimes. Just have fun, do something crazy, do something weird, enjoy the experience.
No, I agree. Like with my son's, our Nerf gun collection is from garage sales. We
Nice.
have like a full arsenal,
Nice.
and we picked up one that shoots 30 rounds, like a fully automatic. It's awesome.
That's cool.
I mean, it's like with the Nerf guns, we have these Nerf battles in garage sales.
Yep.
So I totally get what you're saying. Because in the end, you're saving money too.
Yeah, you're saving a ton of money. We found, I mean, hopefully none of the people that we're buying gifts for are listening to the podcast at the moment, but like there's times we find stuff
No,
new
we
in
want them to
box.
listen.
Oh, that's true. But I don't want them to know their gift came from a garage sale.
Okay.
But we've found quite a few things either clearance inside of a major box store or at a garage sale, new in box, and we're like, this is really cool. So and so would like this for their birthday. Hey, we're getting it for $2, right? And so
Nice.
normally we spend like, $25 on this person. So even when you're doing that and you're not listing and selling it, you're still getting the person something they want and you're saving yourself. So, the old saying of, penny saved is a penny earned, right? So there you go.
You have quotes, you know that? Like you are a wealth of quotes.
I love quotes.
Like I think every podcast we have a quote.
Yeah. I should just add that as my thing, the quote of the week.
Yeah, but I don't know. We'll see where that lands. We have be real, be relevant, be reselling.
Well, see, it doesn't need to be like a quote that's our
No.
motto, just like a quote that like this is like an inspirational quote for the week.
I don't know. I'm not a quote kind of guy.
Oh, you're crazy.
No, like because I don't know.
All right, here I got another one. I'm gonna throw one more out
Whoa,
there.
wait, we got to move on with the podcast.
We're gonna move on after I give this
Okay.
quote. All right, so here it goes. This is one of my favorites. So, if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards.
Oh my! See, that's what I mean. That's why I'm not a fan of quotes. Because
It's true. Tell me one thing in your life that you can stagnate on. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards.
It's true. I think, therefore, I am. All right, let's move on.
No, this is okay. You're either you're progressing or you're
people
regressing.
are shutting off the podcast right now.
I love this stuff.
Okay, anyway, we got to move on.
Let us know.
All right. So about some current topics. Okay, eBay changes. So this is getting pretty big on Instagram. Posh Hanger, she's awesome. She's a one-woman show, and she has been killing eBay for like years. And she posted this on her Instagram. She actually went to eBay headquarters, and there's a couple other people that got information about this. But I guess eBay now is going to start doing a couple new things. Now, there's no timeline. So that kind of worries me, right? When you don't have timelines.
It could be years down the road.
Oh, I know. I know this one organization when I was a teacher, and you know what I'm talking about. They would say like, hey, we have this new thing coming, but they never had a timeline. And like it never happened.
Yep.
Right? And this program is still terrible.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So that's my hope that eBay sets a timeline, but they're supposed to, get this, send offers to watchers. So that means if you see, we always talk about watchers, right? And we're like, oh, if we could only just tell them like, hey, we'll sell this to you for cheaper. Right? Because Poshmark does that, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I know if they bundle, so they don't have like a watcher in the same way that.
But like
eBay
if they
has.
like items, you can send them.
It's not even like, so it's a weird thing. We're still trying to figure it out. So maybe if you're a listener, you can like give us a little bit more advice. We've been looking it up like crazy. But so Posh has a thing called bundles where people can select things from your store and then they create their own bundle and then they can make an offer on the bundle. Some people, it seems like, use the bundle option as like a watch. So they put an item into a bundle and then that's their way of watching. They don't ever add another item, but they just add this one item to a bundle because with a bundle, they can get like 10% off if they buy 3 things or something like that. Your store is set up that way. So automatically 3 items. But you can send an offer to somebody who has an item in your bundle.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And so now you could do that. So that's going to be pretty awesome.
That would be awesome.
I mean, what do you think about that?
No, I mean, that'd be great. I mean, because yeah, I mean, there's times when you've got an item where there's a bunch of people watching it. And again, you want to just say like, I'll give it to you for $5 off, right? Or $10 off or whatever the discount is. But unless they send you an offer, the other thing is you lower your price. But, at times that works, at times it doesn't. And then it sits at a lower price and they're still watching. And now if they're going to make an offer, it's going to be based off that new lower price, right? So
well, now it'll send it to the last 10 watchers. So not just one person, like you're sending it to everybody.
Is that watchers or people who viewed it?
No, watchers.
Okay.
Watchers, which is, to me, is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to be, cynical about this. Is cynical the right word?
No.
Okay. I just got to go with the English teacher. So I think watchers on eBay and people on Posh are different. And let me just track with me here. So, do you remember like why I watch items? Do you remember what I said like a few podcasts ago?
Yeah, I mean, I know some people, including you, say you'll watch sometimes to see if somebody's able to sell an item at a certain price,
Mhm.
so that, like, especially if you're their competition, you're trying to sell something similar. What are they listing it for? What can you list it for and sell it for?
So my only concern is that a lot of people are going to be like super pumped about this, and it's not going to affect their sales like they think it's going to affect their sales.
But how many of the watchers do you think that is that are other resellers?
I have no idea, but I know that sometimes I've had items that have had 40 watchers, and I've dropped the price, and it didn't do anything. So it's just people are interested.
Yeah.
Like if I threw up Freddy Funko right on there, I'm sure I'd get a ton of watchers. Who would buy it? I don't know. Maybe they're like me. I'm watching every Freddy Funko because I want to see what they're selling for
Right.
over time. So I don't know, but I think it's an awesome, awesome idea.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right? It beats the other way. Do you know what the other way is right now? How to do it?
I've got no clue.
Okay, so eBay sends you an email and they're like, "Hey, these items are in people's carts. If you lower the price, you may get a purchase."
I haven't gotten that. I've gotten the try dropping the price this item might sell, but it has nothing to do with, like, watchers. It's just that's interesting. I haven't gotten that email yet.
Yeah, I've gotten it and I've done it and zero, no
Hasn't
conversion.
worked.
So, but I do think this will work. What I do like is if you have a lot of watchers and that's something that people want, then it's going to create like, hey, I need to buy this and I need to
Mm,
buy it now,
yeah,
right?
it's true.
And so people will do that impulse buy and they'll purchase it. So hopefully this gets rolled out like soon, especially before Q4 rolls out.
Especially if you can do a message in with the offer, right? Like,
That would be great.
if this doesn't sell by the end of the day, I'm taking it off of my store. If you're interested, right? Like, because if you've got something sitting that you've had listed for a couple of years and you're like, well, I don't know if it's going to sell. Sometimes it's worth, I don't know if you ever take stuff off or not, but,
No, that
hey,
I think you can use that
create that
tactic.
sense of urgency, right?
Yeah, unless that's all you do, and then people are like, "Oh, it's just that guy
You got
again." You know what I mean?
he said that 3 weeks ago.
He still hasn't pulled the item. All right, now the other one was that now people are gonna have to immediately pay.
Oh,
So,
that would be amazing. Are you talking about, like,
uh,
if you accept an offer of
if
theirs?
you accept an offer, or
Oh,
even if people buy something, you know how some people buy something
yeah.
but they don't pay for it?
Dealing with several of those right now.
Doesn't that drive you
It's
crazy?
crazy, yeah, especially when they say, like, "Well, I don't get paid until next Friday." Look, I'm not your, like, layaway, right? Like, this isn't, like, buy it so that nobody else buys it and then wait 2.5 weeks to pay me.
It drives me crazy because then all day you're going like you're looking and like I'll send them an invoice to remind them and
When we pack stuff, when stuff sells, like, we'll pack it that night because most of the time people will pay within, however many hours. We get the money almost right away for most. But yeah, we've got a couple of boxes sitting around that are packed and ready to go, and we don't want to unpack them because then you got to unpack them. So now they're taking up more space than they would if they weren't packed. I mean, the nice thing is as soon as they pay, we just slap the label on and send it off. But
see I'm the other way like I won't do it because I've had so many times I spent the time packing and then no payment
mm,
and then I have to go get it out of the all the packaging and put it back in the inventory because I can't put it back into my storage in a box 'cause it's going to take up
yeah,
too much
yep.
space.
No, that's true. If it was more than a couple items, probably wouldn't do it. But as of now, we only have a couple like that, and so it's worked out for us. But yeah, if we had a lot of them not selling, we've only had a handful of the open,
Non-payers.
yeah, the open case for the no
See, to
pay.
me, that's a bigger game
Mm,
changer, right? Now, let me go show the other side of it. The other side of it is I'm thankful sometimes when people don't pay.
mm,
Check with me here. You're like looking at me like, where's he going with this? The reason I say that is I think it's nice if people don't pay right away because maybe somebody buys it and then they get remorse in like an hour
right,
or
and then
two
they're not
hours
leaving you negative feedback when they get it.
or negative feedback or like, they return it and then you're losing even more money because
Right.
now you have to pay for if you're doing free returns, you have to pay for the return shipping, right? And so I think about that and I go, this is kind of a two-edged sword,
Oh,
right? The one side is people have to immediately pay, but then what if they want to cancel the transaction
that's
5 minutes
true.
later?
Yep.
So we'll see how it plays out. I do think they're both game changers. I think they will both bring major revenue to our stores.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. I think it's good for us. I mean, I mean, we were talking a little bit about this off mic, but,
No,
eBay
no pun intended.
eBay is it's kind of the big dog other than Amazon. I mean, Amazon and eBay are different. They're not the same, so you can't it's kinda apples to oranges in some ways.
Mhm.
But, eBay is the veteran group. It's been around the longest. It's got the most, um, it's got staying power, right, is what I'm trying to say. It's gonna be here. But I also think that, the younger generations coming up that have grown up with Instagram and Snapchat and Facebook as their primary means of communication are moving more towards the platforms that are a little bit social media oriented, kind of like the Posh. So if eBay can recognize that they have the power, they're the big one in the industry, right? They're the big fish. If they can start to pull in these things that attract the younger buyers, they stay that instead of potentially dying off in 10 years or 15 years because, the younger generation coming up is just more attracted to, a different style.
I 100% agree. And I really think this is going to keep eBay relevant.
Mm,
Right now, if eBay takes too long and we're still talking about this in a podcast 139,
mm,
then I'm really worried about eBay.
yep,
Like this needs to roll. I would say this needs to roll out before Q4 even
mm.
starts, right? Because then people will start going to eBay and people will start buying more. And listen, eBay, if they do this right, I think, and I'm not this major business or market analyst kind of guy, but I think if eBay does this right, they could blow the other company out of the
But
water.
but why do you think that this would draw customers? I see why this is beneficial for a seller, but what makes you think this is super beneficial for customers?
It's a great question. Because what ends up happening now is a lot of people have left eBay, right? And they go to Poshmark because of stuff like this.
Mm,
Right? Not the ultimate reason. There's other reasons too, but a lot of people get fed up. They get fed up with non-paying buyers. I mean, you think of like Mercari and Poshmark and whatever else is out there, like this was easy for them to understand,
mm,
right? It's not I don't know what everything that goes behind it as far as technical issues and all that, but this was like a no-brainer. And so people get fed up with eBay, and especially with all the eBay glitches and everything. So what ends up happening, you start drawing people back,
mm,
right? And then you have more items that go into the market. And then what ends up happening is more people want those items,
right.
right? So you start attracting more, right? And then let's say this keeps moving forward, right? And so eBay sales pick up, and then eBay is known as a place that, hey, you know what? If there's something I want and I start watching it, like it's this is like Poshmark or Mercari or whatever else it is that people are willing to work with me,
Right.
and so people will want more of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, before I started selling on eBay, I didn't even realize the best offer thing was a thing on eBay. Right? Like I remembered eBay as just auction. A few people were doing buy it now with auction. I didn't really remember it as being a lot of things sold just buy it now, and definitely not best offer. And it's amazing to me, like, I'll be at a store and I'm looking up, I'm trying to source items and I see like, at, Walmart or whatever, this item's on clearance. It's normally $39. It's on sale for 12. I'm thinking, sweet, let's check this out. And I look them up on eBay and they're going for $9 and free shipping on eBay. And I'm thinking, where has this been my whole life? I didn't realize I could get new in box stuff
Mhm.
so cheap on eBay. So I don't know if there's something that needs to happen marketing wise for eBay to let people know that, hey, like if you want to buy something, I mean, Amazon, everyone knows to check Amazon, but we've already talked about Amazon doesn't specialize in everything, right? Like they basically are the everything store, but the unique stuff they might not have as much. And eBay is an alternative. Like sometimes the eBay prices are cheaper than the Amazon prices
No, I
and free
agree.
shipping on a lot of stuff.
I agree. But I think marketing that's always been a thing. Like the when 2 weeks ago, or maybe last podcast, you're like, yeah, does eBay have gift cards? Remember you brought that up, and I go, yeah, you're right. Like I go to the store and I see pretty much Amazon gift
Yep.
cards, right? I've seen eBay gift cards, but man, the marketing is not there. Now they're doing better. I see them on social media all the
Mm,
time. Right? Maybe it's because we have an Instagram that's about reselling, and so
right.
maybe that's why
We're
we see
seeing
their
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're seeing it.
Yeah.
But they didn't do more to appeal. But I think it's still there. I think there's so many people selling, and there's so many people that know eBay. Just the other day, I'm driving and it's a talk show, and they said, "Hey, for our talk show, we're putting a lot of our items up on eBay for you to purchase." Right? No one's
Mm,
saying, "Hey, we're putting a lot of our items on Poshmark or Mercari."
right.
eBay is still part of our culture,
Mm.
so they need to hold on to that. And they need to run with
I
it.
need to capitalize on it as soon as possible.
Okay, so if you want to call us for eBay, just let us know.
Yeah,
And
there we go.
all
We'll
right,
help you market.
all right. Let's switch gears a little bit. Amazon. Do you want to talk about Amazon?
No?
Why not? Okay, I'm not gonna go into that. All right. Anyways, let's talk. There's a reason. If you don't know the reason, maybe we should just put the Insta story up because you revealed the reason on the Insta story.
Did I?
You did.
I don't remember that. What did
It's
I
on there.
say?
We went live today.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. We went live. If you haven't watched our live stream, check it out. It's pretty
But
cool.
it's gonna be gone in 24 hours.
Ooh, yeah. So if you're listening to this podcast right now, the Insta story's gone. You missed it. You should have joined us. And for those of you who did join us, you guys are super awesome. All of you are super awesome. You guys are also super
We're
awesome.
just gonna go this way. Mike needs a little bit of accountability on shipping out to Amazon. That's all we're gonna say.
Okay, you know what? That's true. But in my defense, I went from in like a month period of time, I went from 20 items to like 130 items in my eBay store and selling a ton of stuff on Poshmark and learning that OfferUp was a thing and Let Go. I was still using Craigslist. So
That's a good step.
I am now on 3 different platforms that I wasn't on like a month ago. So I haven't sent into Amazon yet. I have a box ready to go, but I've
Wow, you
also
actually
expanded.
confessed.
I've expanded into some other markets. So I'm still moving forward. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. I'm still
Wow.
moving forward, but just haven't got quite to the shipment to Amazon yet.
Okay. All right. So
So what do you have to say about Amazon?
So people have already exhausted this a little bit, so I don't want to spend too much time. But the Amazon Inventory Performance Index.
Okay, so that sounds. If you're a person who like is new to this, if you're an expert, you're probably like, yeah, okay, continue. If you're new to this, you're like, did you just like read out of a medical book or something?
Okay, so let me explain this because those of you that are hopping onto Amazon as new sellers, and some of you that have been selling for a little bit but you haven't been paying attention. So if you go to your Seller Central on the bottom right, there's this graph, and it says, Amazon Inventory Performance Index, or called Amazon IPI. It basically is this number they measure you with, and if your number does not show above a 350, they're going to limit your storage at the end of each quarter.
Mm.
Right? So back in the day, Amazon, like I would say 3 years ago, I think they only had long-term storage fees once a year. Right? So you could send in whatever you want and you would never pay long-term storage fees. Then Amazon went to 6 months. And they gave you a period during the 6 months that they would let you send it back for free, and then you would pay maybe 50 cents an item and get it sent back, and you wouldn't be charged long-term storage fees. Well, warehouses started getting really full, right? And some of you have been doing Amazon for a while, you know this, so please bear with me. And then it went to now, this September, it's every month you get charged long-term storage fees. So any item that's been there 6 months or longer, you'll get charged more. Plus, if your metrics, right, if you don't have a good sell-through rate, if you have a lot of items out of stock, if you have a lot of stranded inventory, and there's one more measurement, I can't remember what it is right now. I want to say, excessive units. You have way too much in your store that hasn't been selling for a while. If your metrics show a score less than 350, they will limit your inventory. So let me tell you how disastrous this could have been for me. So at one point, my score dipped to like a 347 or something. And they said, if you don't get above a 350, you'll only be allowed, I think it was 100 cubic square feet. And then you'll be charged, I forget what it was, some obnoxious amount per square foot over. Well, I had 167 I was using at that time.
Ooh. So you were going to have to already pay?
Yeah, like once I hit, I was going to pay. So what did I do? I started, making sure that those items I thought I was going to hold on for Q4, I just started selling them. I didn't lose money on them. I still made profit, but I didn't make as much money as I wanted.
Right. You had to go with the fast nickel approach.
I did because I had to think long term.
Yeah. It was like emergency, got to get these out of my inventory and get my seller rating index.
Your IPI
profile number points up.
That thing, yeah. And so eventually I did. I got my score up, I think, at one point to 370, 367. And that happens to those of us that are doing FBA a lot, that we're
Mm,
if especially if you're not a big like wholesaler or somebody that buys, stuff that's replenishable, if you're just buying like items that people want as gifts or for
mm,
clothing or shoes, like those items don't or toys, they don't sell as fast as like, if people need, I don't know, some kind of chips or some kind of
right.
food item or, cosmetics or makeup or beauty. So what I want to say about all this is a lot of you that are jumping onto Amazon, be careful about this number because it could cost you. And so you got to make sure that you're pricing competitively, you are sourcing good ranking items. Don't go, hey, I'm going to buy this now because it's going to sell later at Q4 for a lot more and it's August right now.
Yeah. And just a reminder to our new listeners, because again, we're trying to make sure that this is relevant, that everything we're saying is relevant to people who've been doing this for a long time and people who are kind of just starting out and figuring this out and getting their feet wet. So that ranking number when you're scanning an item with the Amazon Seller app,
Mhm.
if it's a 1, that's the best, right? Imagine like that's the place in a race. If you get first place, that's the one you want to be. If it's 500, it's less than 1, obviously it finished further behind. And then if it's 100,000, it's even further behind. So the larger that number, the less frequently they sell.
Agreed, agreed. And so you gotta like toys. To me, the magic number is I usually Q4. I won't buy toys that are higher than 50K rank. I might buy some things that are like 80 or 90K rank that I know are tried and true will sell anyways.
Mm.
But you gotta be careful.
Also with that, and again, I'm not an Amazon expert, but I've watched some things and heard some people talking about, especially in certain categories, how fast those numbers can fluctuate. So recognizing that the number when you scan it isn't a perfect picture always, because for instance, if I'm just going to use books as an example, even though it's probably a
No, I got a good example for you.
bad category, but like yeah, so if something sells 100 of them in one day because a group all bought like, oh, we all need this one book for this study that we're doing. So a bunch of people buy a book, it's going to jump up in the
Mhm.
rankings, but then another book, that book might not sell again for, another month or two. And so now it's going to drop down. So that picture you get that same day isn't always the best. You almost need like a longer term. So
No,
how
I
do you get that?
agree. And I put that in my Insta story today. There's a toy that I picked up that I knew last year I was selling them like all day long,
Mm,
right? And the ranking right now was at about 90,000 and the price was probably 15 to $20 less than what it will sell for in Q4.
mm,
But I know that once Q4 hits, especially if you can use like keepa.com, which kind of tracks sales of items over the last year or so, I know that that item is going to sell again. And so I'm going to buy them knowing that the ranking is going to go down and I'm just going to list it high. But I'm going to make sure that I don't send those items in until the end of third quarter.
mm.
So by the time they get to the warehouse, it's already fourth quarter.
Yeah. And you're avoiding those storage fees potentially.
And the IPI doesn't get affected.
Nice.
It doesn't sound so official.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work. I mean, this is all work, but man, you've really got to time it. Timing seems very important in this.
Well, you do. And one trick I learned, and maybe this will help some of you, and maybe you know better than I do. What I found is I would get a low rating for having out of stock inventory. And the reason I got that was there was a lot of like one offs.
Mm,
So, there's this one toy, I only had one, it sold. And so I never replenished it on the inventory tracking on Amazon.
mm,
So what I learned is if I go back to Amazon and I click on those and I go to delete product and listing, now it won't do it because the catalog obviously knows better than deleting the whole listing because there's going to be other people selling the same item.
right.
But when I do that, and now maybe there's another trick, maybe I'm missing things. I remove all those one-offs from my inventory completely so it doesn't show that I need to restock and it helped bring my inventory performance index up.
Nice. I mean, that makes sense.
So just something to think about if you're an Amazon seller. If you know something better, please direct message us. Let us know. Hey, by the way, real quick, talking about messaging us. Hey, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please do. We got a new ride along,
Ah,
right, on there?
yeah, we got a cool
Well,
ride
it's
along
not new
video.
anymore now. It's like a week old.
Yeah, it's a little old now, but yeah, I mean, we want to provide more content, right? So we got these weekly updates going on with our podcast. We also are putting out information every day, almost all day long on Instagram, with our Insta stories. So hopefully you're following that. But we want to do more like quality videos that you guys can watch. So one of them is a ride along, us going to thrift stores. I think we've got a few more videos that
Some
we're
garage
planning on.
sales.
Yeah, so doing some garage sales. And we really want to show you like our methods, what we're picking up. So like not only are you hearing our bolos and our hustle of the weeks, but hopefully we can, catch some of those on video, maybe some of our big finds. I know there's a lot of people out there already doing that and they do it really well and probably better than, we're doing it, but we want to provide as much content as
I
possible for you
like our
guys.
last video.
I think it was
I
good.
think we were a little awkward because it's our first one, like our talking and going back and forth, but I was okay with
It's
it.
bizarre being on camera and well, I think the hardest part is, 1, we're recording ourselves in a car talking, which, it's
Yeah.
interesting, you're doing that. But, like, walking in a store with a camera and again, some of you guys do this on a regular basis, so I'm proud of you guys. But it's people give you looks and you kinda have to just, like, smile. We had one guy, I cut it out of the video, but, one guy in a Goodwill walked up to us and goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" And we're like,
You should have kept that.
we're just making a video, man." He's like, "Okay," and then walked away, and that was that. But, like, there's that fear of, like, what are people gonna say? Are they gonna wonder?
Yeah.
And, you sometimes see people who are just always on their phones taking pictures of themselves, and I don't wanna be that guy, but I'm literally walking around a store
We are
recording
those
myself.
guys.
Yeah,
We are those
we're
guys.
those guys now.
Okay. So, anyways, hey, please subscribe to us on YouTube. If you haven't been following us on Instagram, we're on Instagram. We're also on Twitter, Pure Hustle Cast. And feel free to DM us or even call us. We're still waiting for that voicemail,
Yeah.
right? 619-738-1170. That's 619-738-1170. And leave us a voicemail.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, we wanna make this show, as beneficial
Interactive.
as possible. Yeah, so, we want you guys to be able to contribute to it. That's why we do the Hustle of the Week, where we want you guys to send them in to us, tag us in your feed, in your Insta feed, or call us and let us know because 'cause we'd love to shout out what you're finding to help the community. And then, yeah, so just do that, let us know, call us because if you give us a call, I mean, you can say on the call, like, "Please don't air this," but, we'd like to air, some of the conversations, the questions you have. We could play your message and, provide direct, responses and answer questions or
Agreed.
maybe just get corrected when we're wrong, right? Like, if you got something to tell
Which does
us.
happen. Which does
Yeah,
happen. So,
a
and
lot.
also feel free to share our podcast with others, right? We just want to provide value. So we see that there's a lot more people listening now. So always feel free to share. That would be great. Okay, we need to get back.
All right, let's do it. What do we got going on now?
Okay.
Are we at the Hustle of the Week yet?
I think we're done with Amazon. I think we're pretty clear. Like, be careful, Amazon IPI. Make sure you're sending in good ranking stuff. Make sure your inventory, you're moving it because you don't want that dreaded email right before October that says your storage space has been limited. Because then that's I don't even know how you do that. Like your Q4, like you're gonna have to go all in on eBay.
Mm,
So just be
I'm
careful.
a little scared.
I'm scared, like major.
Mm.
Like I can't even tell you.
Better keep that API TI up, and then you can
TI
sell.
84.
Yep.
Okay.
TI 84.
All right. Hey,
C3PO.
a couple other things I want to talk about. Hey, there's going to be a possible SoCal meetup. Feel Good Finds have brought this up on Instagram. We're hoping it'll happen. Stay tuned. I actually volunteered. Wow, that was okay. Don't worry about it. If you're listening to the podcast, you have no idea what just happened. I think I just sprayed the microphone. Like, it was terrible.
That's all right. Well, we'll disinfect it
Are
afterwards.
you gonna edit this out of the video?
Oh no, it's making it.
That's really, it's right there. It's really awkward.
It's making it. It's all
Okay.
right.
So I volunteered to rent a van. So if there's SD people, if this meetup ever happens that want to roll, like I'm willing to drive.
But what is this meetup? What's gonna happen? Are we
I don't
gonna
know
go
yet.
grab
I think there may
breakfast, or are we
be
gonna
an
go
eBay person.
shopping?
There might be some eBay people that show up, which is also good. There'll be other, resellers there, which is always good to network. It's always nice to meet people that I just talked about this, that you see on Instagram or on YouTube, and they're down to earth, just people like me and you, just trying to resell. So looking forward to that. Don't know all the details. We'll probably bring our own stuff. We'll probably have our own giveaways at the SoCal meetup.
Yeah.
So it'll be good. So anyways, just stay tuned for that. So, all right.
That's cool. What else? What's next? We at the Hustle of the Week yet?
We're at the Hustle of the Week. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, you're going first. Don't
right.
back out of this one. Go.
All right, here's my Hustle of the Week. All right, so sometimes, like we've talked about, our Hustle of the Week is a big item that you buy, right? Like you get a killer deal on something, and I've got quite a few of those that I could talk about. Sometimes it's, a big find at a store where you found like 100 of one item at a really good discount. Sometimes it's connections, and mine today was kind of a little bit of a few of those things. So we talked a few weeks ago about when you're at a garage sale, finding out just through small chat what the person at the garage sales plan is with their stuff, right? What are you doing if you don't sell this? And after we talked about that, I've heard quite a few people talk about, and I've kind of brought up, yeah, whatever doesn't sell is going to Goodwill, right? That's a good sign that you can really start to lowball and
Mhm.
bundle and get stuff. Uh, Unfortunately, I haven't had many of those where it's, like, oh, it's a gold mine. I could just take everything. But I go to this house and there's a bunch of people there. It's huge garage. So one of the biggest, like, is their entire yard. It was their garage. Their garage was open. Their driveway. There was just stuff everywhere. And there's some nice stuff. And I'm starting to pick up stuff. My wife's picking up stuff. One of the things we picked up at that garage sale was the Humphrey Bogart statue. So on our
Ah,
Insta feed, it's really cool. It's like a 2 foot tall, giant wooden
it's pretty
statue.
cool.
I got to bring it
Is he
in.
like smoking a cigar or something?
No, he's just standing there.
Oh, okay, I'm thinking about another one. I'm thinking about the Frank
Oh,
Sinatra
the
one.
Frank Sinatra, yeah. Well,
Okay.
we found this. I picked it up for $3. No kidding, $3. The comps on these are going, well over $150, in that
Okay.
area. So it was a super good deal. But anyways, the reason I was able to get it so cheap, and there was Humphrey Bogart everything there.
That's
Um,
pretty crazy
it
that you
was,
found that.
yeah, it was bizarre. So okay, I feel bad because this is potentially somebody else's problem that I capitalize off of, but so I could tell through conversation with this lady and she's having with other people that all of the stuff that's being sold is an ex-husband's. And
Okay.
I don't know the story. I don't know if it was like, he left or divorced or what the thing if he's just like get rid of my stuff. I don't know, but it was an ex-husband's stuff and she did not care what price you offered her. And she was there with another guy, so I don't know if his boyfriend, new husband, I don't know, but a few people asked him like, "How much for these shirts?" And he's like, "I don't know, I don't care." And the wife is like, "Just, $2 for all of them, right?" And she's just basically giving stuff away for dirt cheap. Unfortunately, I must have been like 30 seconds late to this garage sale because there were like 3 other resellers there and everybody's just loading up. Like
Wow.
one guy probably got like 30 plus Hawaiian shirts and they were all good name tags. Another guy was trying to take the Humphrey Bogart statue for me and some other stuff. He had a box. He was literally filling stuff in a box and he's trying to ask for stuff that I'm holding because I got a few other nice things there. And I'm like, "Oh, no, this is mine," like, almost like the throwing elbows thing, and he even made a comment like, "Oh, everyone's a reseller today." But, yeah, I mean, this lady, once we found out, like, I don't care, it's my ex-husband's stuff, it was like, cha-ching, 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 right? Like, you could just bundle it all together.
Yeah.
So it was not to say, like, that's a good thing that happened, but, like, every garage sale, there's a story, right? Maybe they desperately need money, so that they're not willing to go down. Sometimes it's an affluent family and they've got tons of nice stuff and money and they're just trying to clear out their garage, and so they'll take lowball offers. Sometimes it's going to Goodwill and they're moving. So if you can figure out what's happening at that garage sale, it gives you a better idea on what kind of offers you can make.
No, that's good. That's great. I kinda have a similar story in the sense that I ended up at this estate sale. And usually when you think of estate sales, it's somebody like passed away, right?
Yeah.
Somebody's no longer, alive anymore. And they had all these like plush. And I'm not a big plush kind of guy, but if there's money, I'll buy it. And so every room, no joke, every room had toys. Like I'm talking about not like a toy chest. I'm talking
Uh-huh.
about like shelves,
Like collector
like
toys?
collector toys
Nice.
everywhere. And so I asked them, I said, "Oh man, like who are the like tell me a little bit about these people." And you know what she told me? She goes, "Oh, these people are just moving. They just didn't want to take all this stuff with them."
Alright,
Think
so
about that. You're a baller. Like if you can move and just go,
don't need it.
I don't need it. I'm not gonna take any of this stuff."
Well, and I think that would be kind of a little bit of a mind trip as for you as a reseller. I haven't actually been to many estate sales after becoming a reseller. I went to a couple before, and I remember just one time kind of feeling sad as I was going through and like looking at stuff to buy
It
and
is
kind of
sad.
just the feeling of like this was somebody loved this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of the thing. But yeah, I think that would be like to go from maybe a somber like you're looking around and you're buying stuff to wait a minute,
Yeah. Well, that's
they're
what
still alive,
well,
like.
that's what happened. And I ended up buying, I want to say 40 Disney plushes
Mm,
for $110.
mm.
And each of those pieces I've sold for 30 to $40 each. And I've already sold, I think I've sold maybe half of it. So
Can I tell you I'm a little mad at you right now?
Why?
That's not fair. You always find those deals. I mean, I know I'll get
No,
there.
but think
So
about it. This is over a span of 5 years I found this score.
So if you've been watching our Insta stories, Orlando comes to a garage sale that I'm at, and we're both at the same community garage sale. We didn't know where the other was going to be. We just happened to be at the same house. He walks up, he sees me. I'm buying a couple GI Joes that are old GI Joes, and one of them already sold, made a pretty decent profit. Orlando goes and sees a box next to me, and he grabs a handful of pennants. That's what they're called, right?
Yeah,
Like the
yeah.
little, like
The little flags.
World War One flags and Vietnam flags and things like that. So he grabs a whole bunch of these, and he starts making offers to the guy, and he gets the guy down really low. And we get back to the car, and he looks at me and he says, like, I paid like $2 each for these. I usually sell them for like 30 to 50 each. And I'm thinking, I was sitting right next to those. Right
Well,
next
okay,
to him.
but the other side of it is there were some good ones in there, but there's some that I'm just gonna have to redonate to if that
Okay.
makes you feel any better.
So instead of, making hundreds and hundreds of dollars, you just made hundreds of dollars.
Well, maybe 2 to 300,
Not bad.
maybe. The pennant thing I noticed the market went down. See,
Okay.
I didn't research them because
You sold them in the past.
I sold them in the past, and people were like there, and I just needed to move on them. And I thought if I sold it, it's an old Insta story, but I also bought a Camelback, which is those hydration backpacks.
Right.
Those go for $30 to $40. So I bought everything for 40. So I figured, hey, if I sell this Camelback, I'm already in the green.
Right.
So that's what happened. So,
Nice.
all right, my house of the week. I'm kind of torn about which one I want to do. Yeah, I'm gonna share this one. So I sold a buckle for $85,
Like a belt buckle?
like a belt buckle.
Was it like a rodeo belt buckle?
No, it was.
Was it a WWE belt buckle?
No, I wish. Actually, WWE belt buckles do go for money. It was a Star Trek belt buckle.
I would have bought that from you.
But here's why it's hustle of the week. There's two reasons. One, it was in a thrift store amongst a pile of a bunch of other buckles.
Okay.
And I bought a Star Wars and a Star Trek one. I sold the Star Wars one. I paid $5 for it. I sold it for $50. And then the Star Trek one I paid for $5. And I did some research. And what struck me about this one is that it said made by Tiffany Studio. So I'm thinking like Tiffany's, like the jewelry. And I did my research and I couldn't find any. No comps, right? And well, I did. I found comps that didn't sell yet.
Okay.
And they were selling for people were selling for 30 to 50. And what do you think I did?
Put it up for super high?
I did. So I put it up for $99.99. And then it went on sale. And it was 15% off. And somebody paid full price and paid $84.99 for it.
And there are other listings at lower price.
Correct.
Okay, so I actually was just talking to somebody today who has been listening to our podcast, and they asked me, like, we've mentioned things like that before. Like we mentioned that we list high, we make more money, maybe because of better pictures and stuff, but they wanted to know, give more detail. Like, how is it that you're able, like, what makes our pictures better? What makes our listing better? How are you able to get that extra money?
There's so much behind it. Okay, a few things. So on my listings, there's a few things that you may not be able to get to yet. Are you a top rated seller yet?
Not yet, because I don't offer free returns.
Okay. So on my listing, right, I have top rated seller. I have this one. I didn't have free shipping, but I have free returns, free 30-day returns. I believe I had expedited shipping. Okay, and then my pictures were better than the other pictures. I also have feedback. I have over 1,000 100% feedback. Okay. And then on top of that, at least in this store, I have that. And then on top of that, I also have, I'm trying to think what else. My feedback is good in there, but I also have a store. I don't know what else the metrics are kicking in, but then my pictures were a lot of pictures. I want to look right now, but I don't want to waste our time. But I want to say I had about at least 8 pictures. Now, I could be wrong, so I'm going to double check right now. But the key thing is with pictures, like, people want to see everything. They don't want to just see, 1 or 2 pictures. Remember, I talked about that the metrics, right, show that you need to have at least 3 pictures.
Right.
So on this one, I had, 5, right? But I showed the front, I showed the back, and then I showed half of the front, half of the back, half of the front, half of the back. and then I had something that went zoomed in right up to where like the engraving was,
Gotcha.
right? And
So
so
close. I think that that might just be a good tip for people. Quantity of pictures and then quality of pictures. Make sure that you're getting close to them. I've seen you put a couple of things on our feed and our Insta story of like somebody else's listing and then our listing or your listing. And your listing is the pictures are closer. You can see the details. Their listing, it's like they're taking the picture from far away and it's like a small portion of the actual
mhm,
square.
and people want to see that. And so I think that's what separated all those things separated me from the crowd.
Mm,
Right. The other thing is maybe the algorithm kicked mine higher because I was top rated seller status and all that
right.
stuff. Right. And again, it's not because I'm anything special. Anybody can do that. You just got to make sure your metrics are there.
Mm,
But here's the catch to all of this. So I sell it and I'm like pumped about this. So I noticed in the last 2 weeks, somebody else has listed the same buckle for $265. Now it's not my buckle. It's not my buckle. I know for sure because theirs has a lot more patina than mine does.
mm.
But part of me goes, did I undervalue my buckle?
You might well, but the thing is, if you really did, go buy those ones that are for 30 and 50 right now, right?
That is true.
Right?
Okay, you know what?
eBay
That's
arbitrage.
what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a watcher on that big item, and then I'm gonna be a watcher on the smaller items. People are gonna send me offers on the cheaper ones, and then as soon as the other one sells for big money, I'm gonna resell all the other ones.
Nice. Genius.
There we go.
Genius.
All right, how about Bolo? Talk to me about Bolo of the week. Here,
Uh,
let me do mine because
go
it,
for
it
it.
it goes right into buckles. I want to talk to you about buckles. Buckles ebb and flow on eBay. Sometimes they do well, sometimes they do not. I want to say about 3 months ago, I was at a garage sale and a guy had 100 buckles. You're gonna see. You love these stories, right?
It's great. It's great when it's not me. I'm not jealous in a bad way. I'm really happy for Orlando when he makes a lot of money. It's actually great when I'm not at the garage sale. It's really sad when I'm there first.
We are gonna do garage sale ride-alongs, though, right?
Oh,
Okay.
of course.
So I show up, and the guy was, I think, a reseller from back in the day, and he was
Mm,
telling me about how buckles were really hot
mm,
back in the 90s and early 2000s, and that they've kind of waned in popularity. And he told me that these buckles were buckles that they had made, like they had somehow, connected with someone who created these. But he had, some football ones, he had some like local ones to San Diego, and then he had some other ones that were kind of unique. And I had asked him, how much if I buy all of these buckles? Because he had them for like $5 a piece,
mm.
and there were about 100 of them. And I think I got them down to $100 for all of them. So I paid like $1 or $2. Maybe it was a little more. I can't remember. And these buckles, I basically ended up controlling the market on buckles. And I
Nice.
say this because when I got on there and started listing these similar buckles, everybody was selling them for like $10 to $20. Well, I go in there with like 60 buckles and I'm selling all of them for 50. I'm listing them for $50 a piece. Cause I'm gonna single-handedly move the market.
That okay, and you're moving it almost in the opposite way that typically capitalism works, right? Because usually somebody comes in with a high quantity, they're coming in at a lower price, which forces everybody else to kind of lose out. You went the opposite way. You said, I'm coming in with the most and I'm going to charge higher. And it worked. That's crazy.
Well, I did. So I have sold these buckles. I think I've sold, I want to say about 14 of them. I think I sold at least 5 or 6 of them for $50. Okay, then I've sold a bunch of other ones for like 25. And so buckles, like, you got the Star Trek one, the ones I just talked about. And I'm not sure for whatever reason, people are underestimating. Now, I'm not going to say that, every buckle you find is going to be worth something. You might find some buckle that, ends up selling for only $5. But I do find if they're like over 20 years old and there's something unique or special about them,
Mm,
I've gotten buckles that are like motorcycle buckles, like Harley or Honda.
right.
I've also gotten ones that are like unique, like they have a certain year and a certain state, whatever it may be. They definitely can sell.
Hmm.
So just think about it. I'm trying to help out those that are just starting that maybe don't have huge budgets. Like buckles could be something that can help you build. Now, some of these are long tail, so I'm not going to say they're going to sell right away, but I did sell like 3 or 4 within a month, and double my money.
That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't sold a buckle or worn a buckle other than like a typical dress belt buckle before. I kind of feel like I want to get one now. I didn't realize they had Star Trek buckles. I would totally rock that.
Wow, or
That's
Star
awesome.
Wars.
I like Star Wars. I am a Star Wars fan, but there's something about Star Trek. Like, if I were to
Do you
dress
speak
up,
Klingon
I
too?
don't, but if I were to
Okay.
dress up and go to Comic-Con, I'd be a Trekkie for sure.
You
Like,
be or you like Data? Like you'd shave your beard?
I would have to go as a Klingon because then I can kind of keep the facial hair maybe and
Okay,
look a
okay.
little more gruff and
All right.
yeah.
What about your bolo?
Ooh, okay, my bolo. So, and maybe I'm totally off on this, and everybody knows, and this isn't like new to anybody, but I feel like with audio, specifically like speakers, everybody knows Bose, right? Like you find a lot of speakers that you pick up that are um, like cheap. Every thrift store has a bunch of Sonys and stuff that are like super super cheap, or JVC or
Or
something like that.
Iowa or
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you see Bose and you're like, score, right? Like that's what you're looking for. All of you audiophiles out there know this. Polk audio, right? Polk audio is if you're and some people might disagree. I've always felt I grew up listening to music on high-end vintage equipment. Polk audio smashes Bose. I think it's way better. I think a
Really?
lot of people do too. Now it has to be the older Polk audio stuff, but even the new Polk audio stuff sells. But anyways, I say all that because I've been in a couple thrift stores and found some Polk audio that it's like, wow, I can't believe I'm seeing Polk audio speakers here. And again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the market
No,
is not what
I
I
think
think it
there's some
is.
truth to what you're
Yeah,
saying.
but you don't see Polk audio as much at thrift stores or garage sales, even as much as Bose. I think it's a little bit rarer of a type of speaker. Well, I'm at a garage sale last weekend, and I find 2 boxes of
That's right. You posted this on
yep,
Instagram.
2 boxes of in-wall or in-ceiling speakers. So the box has 2 speakers in it, and you actually install them as if like almost like they're car speakers. You install them in your walls, and they were Polk Audio, new in box, never opened. I paid $25 each. The guy was asking for, I think, 40 each. He wanted 80 for the both boxes, and I was able to talk him down. So I take these home. I post them on eBay. Within 10 minutes, one of them sold for 130. I was asking 150, but I took
Do you
the
think you should
130.
ask for more?
Maybe I should have, but I was okay with it. I mean, because others were selling at 150. That was what the comps were selling on
Okay.
them. So I feel like taking a $20 cut for an instant sell just for like the yes was worth it. And then I got 145 on the other one within 24 hours of that. So I sold both boxes in a 24-hour period. Polk Audio. It is amazing. And if you haven't ever listened to music through Polk Audio speakers, they're amazing. Go buy some.
You know what? I'd have to agree with you because about 2 months ago, I bought, I think it was like an Onkyo system and a couple other speakers and some Polk Audio bookshelf speakers. And out of all of them, I thought the Polk Audio was like the bad buy. And within a day, I sold, I paid $10 for
Mhm.
everything. Within a day, I sold the Polk Audio speakers, local pickup for $50.
Mm.
And I was like, what? Like, who wants
Yeah, you
these?
probably went way low on those because
I
honestly,
almost donated them.
oof, yeah, no, seriously, Polk Audio, it's great. It's good stuff. The people who, and again, I could be wrong because this was like 15 years ago that I was into vintage audio stuff. But I remember when I was on like the internet forums, everybody loved their Polk Audio speakers. If you could find Polk Audio at a thrift store, it was a find, it was a steal. So if you see Polk Audio, don't sleep on
Interesting.
it.
All right, so talk to me about what are you looking forward to now?
Ooh, what am I looking forward to now?
We've talked a lot about a lot
Oh,
today, huh?
yeah, we have talked about it a lot. Okay, I don't want to say shipping to Amazon because I feel like that's been, what I say a lot of.
You just don't want to be held accountable.
That's true. Okay, so maybe I should make that so I am held
No,
accountable.
no, no. It's just something else.
Um, okay, so I'm looking forward to figuring out what Q4 is all about, right? I know it's going to be a lot of work. I understand intellectually what Q4 is. It makes sense to me on paper. I know that that's where a lot of the money comes from. There's a little bit of fear. Am I going to be able to capitalize on this Q4? Because I feel like there's a lot riding on it. I want to be successful in this reselling thing, and I don't want to miss out on a great opportunity, right? I
Okay.
don't I don't want it to be year 2 of me reselling that it's like, now I can do Q4. Wow, I lost a lot of money last year, right? Like I wanna make the mistakes now, make the mistakes early so I'm not making them in the future, but I also wanna have a lot of success now.
Okay.
So I'm kind of excited to really do some research to figure out what kind of items I need to be sourcing. what platforms I need to be sending them to, which probably means Amazon. I need to get on that. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to next time we talk for me to be able to say I feel like I'm ready for Q4.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you could say I shipped out a box.
yeah, that's the long way of saying that I need to ship a box to Amazon.
All right. What I'm looking forward to is I'm gonna take a couple road trips next week, the next couple
Where are you
weeks.
going?
I usually go to the LA area. I usually go, and I might run into some resellers out there and go to lunch. But I love going up to the LA area because there's so many different stores. And I'm not a big fan of driving over to Arizona just because it's
Mm,
so hot. But I want to. There's some kind of stores I've never gone to before
mm,
that I want to start hitting because I would say in the last couple weeks, even in San Diego, I've been going to a couple stores I've never been to. And
mm.
I'm like, wow, like there's definitely money to be made here. So I kind of want to do a little bit of exploring. I love doing my little, not MapQuest. Okay, that's from the '90s, but I like kind of routing out where I'm gonna go, and it's kind of nice because they're not like full on like I stay at a hotel kind of trips. I will be doing those once Q4 really starts taking off, but
Wow.
I drop off my kids at school and then I take off for a few hours. And what's nice is LA is only an hour and a half, 2 hours
Yeah,
away. And so I can go out there. I don't need to even go all the way into LA. I can go into like the surrounding regions. I can go into like Riverside, or if I go on the other side, I can go to like Seal Beach or Huntington, kind of on Highway 1. It's just nice to be out there.
that's cool. Yeah, no, that sounds fun.
So one of the things I love about reselling are the road trips. So I'm
Yeah.
really looking forward to doing those.
Yeah, I'm actually leaving this weekend to go to Nevada, so I'm gonna be missing my first garage sale weekend in a while. I'm kinda bummed about that. I'm going up to visit some family, which is exciting. But I'm kind of thinking about, okay, how much am I gonna lose as far as sourcing, not being able to hit up garage sales? But then I'm
Unless you go to
thinking,
Nevada.
well, yeah, but timing wise, I don't know how to work, but there's gonna be thrift stores there. We could potentially hit up some stores along the way. And then like what you said, like you're not gonna be getting hotels this time around, maybe as Q4 comes. How cool of like a little documentary Insta story would it be to like get a trailer behind your vehicle and like sleep in your car and do like 3 days where you just travel and you
No,
just
people
fill
do
up the
that.
trailer?
They do that. Like
That would be
they're
awesome.
it looks it looks like a lot of fun. When I did that with Toys R Us, I didn't do a trailer, but when I did, the whole staying in hotels with my son, it was so much fun. So much fun. All right. Well, it looks like we're both going to be traveling.
That's cool. I like
Okay.
it. That's cool.
Well, hey, we got to wrap up this show. If you haven't had a chance yet, make sure to follow us on Pure Hustle Podcast on Instagram. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Okay. Hit those like buttons, comment for us.
And here's a big one for you guys. Honestly, if you appreciate what we're putting out, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, if you can write us a review, if you can give us a ranking or a rating on there, the way their algorithms work, the more reviews you have, the higher up you are. And we want a lot of people to listen to us. We want a lot of people to hear what we're putting out there. We want this community to be as big as possible. So please just leave us a like or a ranking or something on there, however that works on iTunes, that will really help us out and allows us to get more content out there for you guys.
All right. So, hey, as always, we're going to wrap this up. Right? Be real
Be relevant.
and be reselling. Bye.
Peace.